Embrace discomfort as your teacher, because growth doesn't happen in the places where you feel safe, where everything goes according to plan. Discomfort pushes you to confront your limits, to stretch beyond what you thought you were capable of, and to realize that your mind will always give up before your body does. It is in the moments of struggle, of doubt, of pain, where strength is carved into your character, and you are forced to decide whether you will rise or retreat. Discomfort strips away the illusion of control. It exposes the gap between who you are and who you want to become. When you're uncomfortable, there's no pretending you feel the rawness of the moment, the sting of failure, the uncertainty of the future. But that's exactly where you grow. It forces you to face yourself, to stop running from the hard truths, and to confront the version of you that is still a work in progress. The mind craves comfort because comfort feels safe, but safety doesn't build strength. The strongest people are those who have learned to sit with discomfort without flinching. They know that avoiding pain doesn't eliminate it, it only delays it. Every choose to lean into discomfort rather than escape it, you build a layer of mental toughness that no one can take away from you. It's a silent, invisible armor that grows thicker with every challenge you face head on. Discomfort doesn't just test your physical limits, it attacks your mind first. It whispers lies telling you that you're not strong enough, not capable enough. But those whispers, their power the moment you refuse to listen. Each time you push through the discomfort, you prove to yourself that you are more than the voice of doubt in your head. You realize that the mind will always panic before the body does, and once you conquer the mind, you've already won half the battle. True strength doesn't come from avoiding struggle, it comes from embracing it like an old friend. It's about understanding that every hardship carries a hidden lesson. The pain of discipline will always be less than the pain of regret. When you embrace discomfort, you begin to value the process more than the result. You stop looking for shortcuts and start understanding that the long, hard road is where real transformation happens. Look at the moments in your life where you grew the most. They weren't in times of ease or comfort. They were in the times when you were backed into a corner, forced to dig deeper and made to choose between giving up or stepping up. Discomfort forces you to innovate, to adapt, to become resourceful. It pushes you to tap into the part of yourself that only shows up when you're under pressure. That's when the real version of you is revealed, not the one the world sees, but the one that fights when no one is watching. When you embrace discomfort, you stop fearing failure because you understand it's just another lesson disguised as a setback. You start to realize that growth doesn't happen in clean, controlled environments. It happens in the mess, in the chaos, in the moments when everything feels like it's falling apart. That's where your grit is built, where your resilience is forged, and where you learn that discomfort isn't your enemy, it's your greatest ally. People who run from discomfort stay the same. They repeat the same patterns, think the same thoughts, and live the same lives year after year. But the ones who embrace discomfort evolve. They walk through fire and come out stronger. They step into the unknown, not because they have no fear, but because they know the only way to build confidence is by facing the things that scare them. Discomfort sharpens their minds and strengthens their resolve. Embracing discomfort means making peace with the idea that progress feels like struggle. It means understanding that the path to success isn't smooth, it's filled with obstacles, failures, and moments where you question yourself. But every ounce of discomfort you endure adds to your inner strength. It builds a foundation so strong that when life tries to knock you down, you don't break, you bend, but you never shatter. Discomfort humbles you. It reminds you that you don't have all the answers, that there's always more to learn, and that growth requires surrendering the need for control. It forces you to let go of your ego, to admit when you're wrong, and to open yourself to the lessons hidden within your struggles. There's nothing weak about feeling uncomfortable. It's a sign that you are on the edge of something bigger than yourself. The moment you stop running from discomfort, you start owning your life. You no longer let fear dictate your choices or keep you small. You start to welcome the hard days, knowing that every drop of sweat, every moment of uncertainty, and every push beyond your limit is shaping you into someone who cannot be broken. You stop seeing discomfort as a problem and start recognizing it as the most honest form of growth. Discomfort teaches you patience. It shows you that not everything happens instantly, that the most meaningful progress takes time. It pushes you to stay focused even when there are no visible results, to keep walking even when no one claps for you, and to trust the process even when the finish line seems far away. The mentally strong don't quit. When it gets hard, they lean into the struggle, knowing that discomfort is just a temporary state on the way to permanent growth. To embrace discomfort is to take full ownership of your mindset. It means training your thoughts to see difficulty as an opportunity, not a setback. It means developing the habit of pushing a little further when your mind screams for you to stop. The strongest people don't avoid discomfort, they seek it out. They understand that comfort zones are cages, and true freedom is found when you break through their walls. Discomfort rewires your brain. It teaches you that struggle is not a signal to stop, it's a sign you're moving in the right direction. Every moment of doubt, every ounce of fear, and every wave of discomfort is an invitation to grow. It's the universe's way of asking, how badly do you want this? The answer lies not in your words, but in your willingness to endure the uncomfortable moments that stand between you and your highest potential. Detach from opinions and focus on purpose, because the moment you start living for the approval of others, you hand them the keys to your mind. Every time you adjust your path to fit someone else's expectations, you move further away from your own purpose. The truth is, opinions are cheap. Everyone has one, but not everyone knows your journey, your struggle, or your dreams. To grow into the person you're meant to be, you have to release the weight of what others think and anchor yourself to your purpose. Opinions are like shadows, they follow you. They shift with the light, but they hold no substance. They don't pay your bills, they don't fight your battles, and they don't walk your path. When you allow opinions to guide your choices, you become a puppet dancing to someone else's tune, losing your own rhythm. Your purpose is the only solid ground you have. It's a steady voice inside you, whispering what you are meant to build, create, and become, and it will never grow louder if it's drowned out by the noise of other people's judgments. Focusing on your purpose means learning the art of selective hearing. Not every opinion deserves your attention. Some people speak from their own fear, their own failure, and their own limitations. They project their insecurities onto you, hoping you'll stay small because your growth threatens their comfort. But your purpose is bigger than their fear. It's rooted in something deeper than their words. The more you cling to your why, the reason behind what you do, the less their opinions will shake you. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring, it means you stop being controlled. It's the ability to hear criticism without letting it paralyze you. It's standing firm in your values even when the world questions them. People will always have something to say. They'll call you too quiet, too loud, too different. But none of those labels matter when you're rooted in your purpose. What matters is that you know why you're walking this path and where it's leading you. Living for approval is a trap. It turns you into a chameleon, constantly changing colors to blend into whatever crowd you're standing in. But blending in has never changed the world. The people who left a mark on history, the innovators, the creators, the game changers weren't concerned with fitting in. They were obsessed with their mission. They understood that their purpose wasn't up for debate. They didn't ask for permission to be great. They decided they would be, regardless of who agreed or disagreed. Purpose gives you clarity. It cuts through the noise of opinions and refocuses your mind on what truly matters. When you're anchored in your purpose, you stop wasting energy explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You stop trying to win over those who secretly want to see you fail. You realize that your time is better spent building, creating, and pursuing your goals, not convincing others to support your vision. The opinions of others often mirror their own doubts. When someone tells you that you can't do something, they're speaking from their own limitations, not yours. They're revealing the boundaries of their own mindset, not the limits of your potential. Detaching from their words means recognizing that their judgment is a reflection of them, not a definition of you. Your purpose doesn't shrink to fit their expectations. It expands as you move forward, regardless of their approval. Every time you choose purpose over opinion, you build mental strength. You teach yourself to trust your own voice over the crowd's noise. It's not about ignoring feedback, it's about filtering it. There's a difference between constructive criticism and destructive doubt. One helps you grow. The other holds you back. When you focus on your purpose, you develop the wisdom to know the difference taking what fuels your growth and discarding what feeds your fear. Purpose demands discipline. It requires you to stay focused even when people laugh at your dreams or question your path. It pushes you to work in silence without seeking validation. When you detach from opinions, you stop announcing every move you're making because you realize that success doesn't need an audience, it needs consistency. Your purpose becomes your silent motivator, driving you forward even when no one's watching or clapping. People's opinions are fleeting, they change as quickly as the wind. One day they applaud you, the next they criticize you. If your confidence is tied to their reactions, you'll live on an emotional roller coaster, up when they approve, down when they don't. But when you focus on your purpose, you step off that ride. Your self-worth stops being a product of public opinion and starts being a reflection of your inner strength direction. Detaching from opinions gives you freedom, the freedom to think boldly, to take risks, to fail without shame, and to rise without hesitation. It allows you to move through life without constantly looking over your shoulder, wondering if people are judging your every step. This freedom doesn't make you careless, it makes you fearless. It shifts your energy from seeking applause to seeking progress, and that shift changes everything. Purpose gives you a backbone. It makes you unshakable in the face of doubt. When you know why you're doing something, the world's opinion becomes background noise. The disbelief doesn't stall you, it fuels you. It reminds you that you're not here to meet their expectations, but to fulfill your own destiny. With every step forward, you reinforce the truth that your purpose isn't a suggestion, it's a mission. When you detach from opinions, you take back your power. You stop explaining yourself to people who are more interested in criticizing than understanding. You learn to let your results speak louder than their words. Your silence becomes a statement, and your success becomes the only response you need. The less you react to their judgment, the more energy you have to pour into your goals. It's a quiet, powerful shift from seeking validation to building unstoppable momentum. Your purpose isn't a democracy, it doesn't require a vote. It's a personal commitment to becoming the person you were meant to be. The moment you realize that no one's opinion can build or break your purpose, you become unstoppable. You stop waiting for people to believe in you and start believing in yourself with a fire that can't be extinguished. This is where true strength is born, not in their approval, but in your unwavering focus on the mission that burns within you. Master the art of discipline, because without it, even the strongest ambition fades into a distant dream. Discipline isn't about motivation, it's about control. It's waking up when you said you would, not because you feel like it, but because you made a commitment to yourself. It's about doing what needs to be done long after the excitement of starting something new has worn off. Discipline is the foundation of every success story, the silent force behind every great achievement. The art of discipline begins with consistency. It's not about grand gestures or extreme actions, it's the small, deliberate choices you make every single day. It's choosing to show up, even when you're tired, even when no one's watching. It's understanding that progress isn't built in a day, but crafted through relentless repetition. Each day you follow through on your promises to yourself, you strengthen the muscle of discipline, and with every rep, it gets harder to break. Discipline is about mastering your mind before it masters you. Your mind will always look for the easy way out. It's wired to seek comfort, avoid pain, and stay in familiar territory. But discipline teaches you to override that instinct. It's the voice that says, I don't want to, and the response that follows, but I will anyway. It's recognizing that the hardest battles are fought within, and the war is won by choosing control over comfort. Emotion has no place in discipline. You can't build a solid foundation if you let your feelings dictate your actions. There will be days when you don't feel like working, days when you want to quit, but discipline doesn't bend to your mood. It teaches you that success isn't emotional, it's habitual. You don't wait until you're inspired to act. You act until the inspiration catches up. The art of discipline lies in doing what must be done, regardless of how you feel. True discipline means setting standards, not goals. Goals give you direction, but standards create the system. A goal says, I want to lose weight, but a standard says, I work out 5 days a week, no excuses. A goal says, I want to be successful, but a standard says, I show up every day, even when progress is invisible. Discipline isn't about chasing the outcome, it's about committing to the process building systems so solid that success becomes inevitable. Discipline also requires sacrifice. You can master it without letting go of distractions, the late nights that steal your mornings, the empty conversations that drain your energy, the habits that pull you away from your purpose. Every act of discipline is a silent act of sacrifice, choosing what you want most over what you want right now. It's a constant trade-off between short-term comfort and long-term fulfillment. And mastering that balance is the key to unstoppable growth. The art of discipline sharpens your focus. When you embrace discipline, you stop scattering your energy. You learn to cut through the noise, silence the distractions, and lock onto what truly matters. It turns your mind into a weapon, one that doesn't waver at the first sign of difficulty. Discipline keeps you grounded in the task at hand, making you immune to the chaos around you. The world may spin, but you remain still working, building, growing. Discipline is about accountability, the ability to hold yourself responsible without external pressure. When you master discipline, you stop waiting for someone to push you, remind you, or motivate you. You become your own coach, your own critic, your own driving force. It's the moment you realize that no one is coming to save you. And the only way forward is to take full responsibility for your actions every single day. It's a quiet strength that refuses to lean on excuses. Time becomes your ally when you master discipline. You no longer waste hours procrastinating, scrolling, or overthinking. Discipline teaches you to value time not just by working hard, but by working smart. It's not about being busy, it's about being productive. It's understanding that every minute you invest in your purpose compounds over time. Discipline turns time into a tool, not an enemy, helping you build momentum with each passing day. Discipline transforms your identity. It's not something you do, it's something you become. You don't practice discipline, you live it. It reshapes the way you see yourself, shifting you from someone who tries to someone who commits. You stop identifying as someone chasing success and start becoming the kind of person success chases. When you master discipline, it's no longer about willpower, it's about identity. And that shift changes everything. Mastering discipline builds resilience. It toughens you, teaching you to push through setbacks and silence the urge to quit. When you're disciplined, failure doesn't stop you, it redirects you. It becomes a lesson, not a limit. Every time you keep going despite the obstacles, you're conditioning your mind to endure, to persist, and to thrive under pressure. Discipline makes you unshakable, not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. Discipline fuels confidence. When you keep promises to yourself, when you wake up early, stick to the plan, and push through resistance, you build self-trust. Confidence doesn't come from compliments, it comes from consistency. It's knowing you can rely on yourself, that you're sure for yourself, no matter what. Discipline reinforces this belief, carving out an inner strength that doesn't depend on external validation. The art of discipline strengthens your vision. It turns vague dreams into structured plans and wishful thinking into daily execution. Discipline means you stop fantasizing about what you want and start building it brick by brick, step by step. It transforms hope into strategy and ideas into action. When you master discipline, your vision stops being a distant possibility and starts becoming a clear, unstoppable reality. Discipline redefines freedom. It's not about restriction, it's about control. True freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you want. Whenever you want, it comes from mastering yourself. It's having the strength to choose long-term success over short-term pleasure. Discipline gives you the freedom to design your life, to create a future on your terms, and to move with purpose and power every step of the way. Master the art of discipline and you master yourself. Turn setbacks into comebacks because every fall holds the seed of a rise. A setback isn't the end of your story. It's the plot twist that forces you to rewrite your narrative. It's life's way of testing how badly you want something. You don't crumble under the weight of failure. You use it as a foundation to build something stronger. A setback pushes you to the edge, but a comeback is what happens when you choose to step forward instead of giving up. Comebacks begin with perspective. A setback only defines you if you let it. It's not the fall that shapes your future, it's how you stand back up. When you shift your mindset from why did this happen to me to what is this teaching me, you reclaim your power. The moment you start seeing setbacks as lessons, not losses, you unlock the door to a comeback. Perspective doesn't erase the pain, it repurposes it into fuel. A setback reveals your true strength. It strips away the illusion of comfort and exposes the raw version of who you are. When everything goes wrong, when plans collapse, when support disappears, that's when you meet yourself. The question isn't whether you'll face setbacks, it's whether you'll rise from them. Strength isn't built in moments of ease. It's forged in the fire of failure. Every setback is an invitation to discover just how strong you really are. Turning a setback into a comeback starts with acceptance. Denial keeps you stuck, acceptance sets you free. It's not about pretending everything is fine, it's about facing reality head on. Accept that you fell short, that something broke, that the plan didn't work. But don't stay there. Acceptance doesn't mean surrender, it means acknowledging the setback so you can strategize the comeback. You can't rebuild what you refuse to admit is broken. Discipline drives the comeback. Motivation fades, but discipline keeps you moving forward when the excitement is gone. It's easy to feel inspired when you start, but the real test comes when progress is slow and obstacles pile up. Discipline means showing up every day, working, learning, pushing even when there's no visible result. A comeback isn't a one-time event. It's a series of consistent actions that slowly but surely reclaim your momentum. A powerful comeback demands focus. Setbacks scatter your energy, they leave you feeling lost, overwhelmed, and defeated. But focus gathers your strength. It's about zeroing in on what you control and blocking out the noise. Focus turns chaos into clarity. It's the discipline of ignoring what went wrong enough to start working on what can go right. When you focus on the next step instead of the entire mountain, the comeback starts to take shape. Resilience fuels the comeback. Setbacks will knock you down, but resilience is the voice that says, get up again. It's the grit to push forward when every part of you wants to quit. Resilience doesn't mean you don't feel the pain. It means you refuse to be defined by it. It's about bouncing back one more time than you fall. Every time you rise after a setback, you build a thicker skin, a stronger mind, and a heart that refuses to break. A comeback requires reflection. You can't move forward if you don't learn from what knocked you down. A setback without reflection is just repeated failure. You have to ask yourself the hard questions: what went wrong? What could I have done differently? Where did I lose focus? Reflection doesn't mean dwelling on the past, it means dissecting it to build a smarter future. The most powerful comebacks happen when you turn your past mistakes into present wisdom. Confidence grows in the comeback. Every time you push through a setback, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your circumstances. Confidence isn't built by winning, it's built by surviving the losses. It's not about having all the answers, it's about trusting yourself to figure things out. The comeback teaches you that you don't need perfect conditions to succeed, you just need the courage to keep going, even when everything feels broken. Setbacks force reinvention. They push you out of your comfort zone and into a place where you have to think differently, move differently, and grow in ways you never considered. A comeback isn't about returning to who you were, it's about evolving into someone even stronger. Reinvention means you don't just recover from the fall, you rise as someone who's learned, adapted, and become wiser. A comeback isn't a return to the old, it's a step into the new. Patience shapes the comeback. It's easy to want quick fixes to bounce back overnight, but real comebacks take time. A set might happen in an instant, but a comeback is built brick by brick. Patience means staying the course when progress is invisible. It's trusting that the work you're doing behind the scenes, the late nights, the early mornings, the silent battles will eventually pay off. Patience turns short-term frustration into long-term success. Support strengthens a comeback. You may feel like you have to do it all alone, but comebacks thrive on connection. The right people, mentors, friends, those who believe in you remind you of your strength when you forget it. A setback can isolate you, but a comeback requires community. It's not about leaning on others for the work, it's about letting their encouragement fuel your journey. Surround yourself with those who push you forward, not pull you back. Creativity fuels comebacks. A setback often means the old way didn't work, so the comeback forces you to think outside the box. It's about shifting strategies, finding new paths, and daring to do things differently. Creativity means using failure as feedback, not as a stop sign, but as a redirection. A comeback doesn't happen by repeating the same moves. It happens when you adapt, innovate, and create a path that didn't exist before. Ultimately, a comeback is built from the inside out. It's not about external wins, it's about internal growth. The real comeback happens when you rebuild your mindset first, when you choose resilience over regret, discipline over doubt, and progress over perfection. It's about becoming someone who doesn't just recover from setbacks, but rises so strong that the next fall can't break them. The comeback isn't just about bouncing back, it's about rising higher than you ever stood before. Control your mind or be controlled by it, because your mind is the loudest voice you'll ever hear. It's with you in silence, in chaos, in moments of victory, and in moments of failure. If you don't learn to command your thoughts, they will command you. Your mind is a tool, powerful yet neutral. It only takes the shape of the thoughts you feed it. When you allow your mind to run wild with fear, doubt, and negativity, it becomes a prison. But when you take charge of it, it becomes a weapon for success. Your mind creates your reality long before you ever take action. Every decision you make starts as a thought. If your thoughts are weak, filled with excuses and hesitation, your actions will reflect that. But when your thoughts are disciplined, focused on solutions and progress, your life begins to shift. Control doesn't mean suppressing your emotions, it means mastering the way your mind processes them. It's about recognizing fear without letting it paralyze you, acknowledging doubt without giving it power. A controlled mind doesn't react, it responds. When your mind is in control, you pause before you speak. You think before you act. You don't let anger dictate your words or anxiety drive your decisions. An uncontrolled mind, however, is impulsive. It lashes out, jumps to conclusions, and sabotages progress. The difference between a setback and a comeback often lies in whether you reacted without thinking or responded with intention. A controlled mind moves strategically, not emotionally. Discipline is the foundation of mental control. Your mind will always look for the easy way out. It's wired for comfort and survival. But discipline is what keeps you focused when motivation fades. It's waking up when you want to sleep in, showing up when you want to quit. An undisciplined mind gives into every craving, every distraction. A disciplined mind pushes forward despite resistance. The more you train your mind to obey your goals instead of your impulses, the stronger you become. Your thoughts are like seeds. An uncontrolled mind plants seeds of doubt, fear, and negativity. They grow into habits that hold you back. But when you control your mind, you plant seeds of confidence, resilience, and clarity. Over time, these seeds grow into powerful habits that push you forward. The thoughts you water will determine the life you live. If you keep feeding yourself reasons why you can't, you'll stay stuck. But if you train yourself to focus on what you can control, you'll create momentum. Controlling your mind means mastering self-talk. The voice inside your head is either your greatest coach or your worst critic. An uncontrolled mind lets that voice spiral, telling you you're not good enough, smart enough, or strong enough. But a controlled mind interrupts those lies. It speaks with authority, reminding you of your strengths, your goals, and your progress. Your self-talk shapes your actions. If you let the voice inside you tear you down, you'll sabotage yourself before the world even has a chance to. Your mind will test you. It will tell you to quit when things get hard, to back down when fear rises, and to settle when you deserve more. An uncontrolled mind believes those whispers, but a controlled mind questions them. It pushes back against every thought that doesn't serve your growth. It challenges every excuse, every fear, every limitation. Your mind's job is to protect you from discomfort, but your job is to push through that discomfort if you want to grow. Mastery comes when you stop believing every thought you have. Mental control requires focus. An uncontrolled mind jumps from one thing to another, always chasing, never building. It's easily distracted, pulled by every notification, every opinion, every impulse. But a focused mind works in silence, is locked in on the goal, tuning out the noise. Focus doesn't come naturally, it's trained. Every time you pull your mind back to the task at hand, you sharpen it. A focused mind creates progress, a scattered mind creates chaos. Where your mind goes, your life follows. Emotions don't control a strong mind, they inform it. An uncontrolled mind lets fear stop it, lets anger guide it, lets sadness drown it. But a controlled mind acknowledges those emotions without being ruled by them. It feels the fear but moves forward anyway. It notices the anger but chooses a calm response. A controlled mind uses emotions as data, understanding them without being enslaved by them. Emotional maturity starts the moment you realize you can feel everything but choose to act only on what aligns with your goals. Consistency sharpens mental control. An uncontrolled mind seeks instant gratification. It wants results now, success now, validation now. But a controlled mind plays the long game. It understands that growth happens in the repetition, in the daily habits, the silent work, the unseen effort. Consistency rewires your brain, teaching it that progress comes from discipline, not bursts of motivation. The more consistent you are, the more your mind learns to trust the process over the outcome. Mental control means embracing discomfort. An uncontrolled mind runs from pain, avoids hard conversations, and quits at the first sign of struggle. But a controlled mind leans into the discomfort. It sees resistance as growth. It understands that pain isn't a stop sign, it's a signal that you're moving forward. The mind grows stronger every time you push past what's easy. It's not about enjoying the struggle, it's about recognizing that struggle is the path to strength. Repetition reprograms the mind. An uncontrolled mind clings to old patterns, doubt, procrastination, fear because it's familiar. But a controlled mind reprograms those patterns through repetition. It replaces every I can't with I will. It turns every excuse into a strategy. The mind learns through what you repeatedly tell it. If you keep feeding it discipline, courage, and focus, those patterns become automatic. Mental strength isn't built overnight, it's carved into your brain through daily practice. A controlled mind takes responsibility. An uncontrolled mind blames others, makes excuses, and waits for the world to change. But a controlled mind owns its actions. It understands that no one is coming to save you. It knows that change starts with what happens inside your head. Blame weakens you, responsibility empowers you. When you control your mind, you stop waiting for permission, you start creating solutions. Responsibility shifts you from victim to leader, from passive to powerful. Ultimately, controlling your mind is about freedom. An uncontrolled mind is a prison. It keeps you stuck in fear, tied to doubt, and controlled by external forces. But a controlled mind is free, it thinks independently, moves with intention, and creates its own path. Freedom doesn't come from the absence of struggle, it comes from mastering your mind so deeply that struggle can't break you. When you control your mind, you control your life.